Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's episode of Sensitive Superstars. And I am absolutely loving the summer solstice today. Just looking out, the sun is peeking through the dark clouds here, and I think it's going to turn into a glorious day. And I'm just feeling really like in that mood to celebrate and really kind of focus on what has happened so far that's really positive in our lives, and what we are calling in and what we're manifesting. I ran my live event on Monday, which was a Soul Summer Solstice Day. It was a beautiful day, and really it was about women coming together in community to celebrate and connect. And I think this is so important that we have this opportunity to come together and celebrate, especially around this time when it just feels like there's a lot of energy moving around. What I really want to talk about today is the darker side of the moon. I want to talk about why we've got to stop faking it, why we've got to stop pretending, and why embracing all of our negative emotions is an incredibly powerful thing to do, not just for you, but for the people around you. Now, there's a caveat to this, because as a sensitive woman, you will know that you have got to take care of your emotional well-being, right? Like, that is absolutely key. So when I talk about this, I'm talking about this because you know already how you have got to look after yourself. You know already about your commitment to your self-care. You know already about your practice. You know already about using your external support and your internal support systems. Now, this does not mean that you're perfect, because just like all of us, you're going to have days when it is easier to remember this, and you are going to have days where you feel burnt out and overwhelmed and frustrated. But when I'm talking about really owning all of who you are and giving yourself complete permission to be all of who you are, then it means that you are in a space where you are really prioritizing your own happiness and your own well-being. So what that means is, when you are really committed to your connection to yourself, when you have got a really supportive practice that moves with you through your monthly cycle, that supports you as a sensitive woman, when you've got that external support around you, that means you have all of that there, and you tapping into everything that's within you, so that you are completely filled up and safe and connected, so that when you feel a negative emotion, you don't have to do the classic thing of either, there's two ways that you might go with this. You can either push it down and pretend that you don't feel angry, that you don't feel disappointed, that you don't feel pain. Or you can really react with it, which means that you are reacting to that old story, to that old belief, to that old habit, to what is happening, and neither of which are beneficial at all for you or for the people around you. So when you are on it with your self-care, when you're on it with your practice, when you've got your support systems all around you, it means that you don't have to fake it anymore. It means that you can give yourself complete permission to be. And I really got this again. I always get it again and again, but I really got this over the last few weeks with everything that's been going on. First we had the elections. And then there's been the series of terrorism. There's been what's happened in Grenfell Towers. All of this has been going on. And I guess what I would have probably done as little as a couple of years ago is I would have just been like, I can't cope with this. I'm going to pretend that like it's just not happening. Or probably a little bit further back, I would have been like, oh my God, this is so horrible. And I would have just been in like floods of tears. Now, what happened this time was I was able to really ride through my emotions and feel really empowered, because I was able to understand that I have the choice to react and respond. Sometimes I still react, and sometimes I go for responding, which is just generally a lot more, it feels a lot better, right, when we respond with love. But when we respond with love, it doesn't mean that we can't feel anger, and we can't use anger as a fuel, because all of the good things that have happened in the world, changes that have happened, and new ways of being, and amazing amazing kind of people who have stepped up have all done that from a place of love, but it's because they've been fueled by something that's caused them to think, this isn't fair, this is an injustice, I feel like the world is missing this and I want to help support this and I want to bring this in. So what I have really felt very strongly is that as a sensitive woman, it's not our job to get burnt out and overwhelmed and like be in the corner, like just completely exhausted by what's going on around us. It's our job to look after ourselves, look after our emotional well-being, really prioritise like what makes us feel good and know how to connect with ourselves and with the people around us so that we can be a conduit for positive change, so that we can get into a place where we can speak our truth, where we can share our voices, and we don't have to feel like it's bad for us to express an opinion. Because that's something that I have really strongly felt. And if you're watching this, or if you're watching this on replay, let me know if this resonates with you. There's definitely been, I've picked up on this sense of there's certain things that are okay to talk about and use your space in Facebook for, and there's certain things that aren't. And of course that comes down to personal choice. That comes down, you can't comment on everything, you can't share about everything. But big things that are happening, there's no denying that there's a change coming, and there's a real change of consciousness, and there's a real compassion that's coming from some very uncompassionate events. So I really feel like as a sensitive woman, who has a voice and who has a courage in her heart to speak her truth, it's really down to us to be part of the solution. And I did a Facebook Live on this the other week, if you want to check that out, which was all about if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I have been really, really impressed by women who have got a platform on Facebook and have used it in a really positive way to speak their truth, to express like their anger about things, but coming from a place of like, I want to see change because of this, or I've seen this happen and I feel this is unfair. And I really feel so strongly right now that we are for the many, we are not for the few. That's not just a political slogan, right? That's the truth. Like, we are here, we do our practice, we make our connection, we raise our vibration, not so that we can then be better, though of course that naturally is happening. We're stepping into a brighter version of ourselves, but so that we can bring what we've learned and bring that compassion out into the world. So as I say, we're riding a wave of something new that's coming up here, and it is coming from a place of compassion and love. But our anger and our disappointment and our sense of feeling like this isn't fair, our sense of injustice, that is all valid. My distinction is, if it ever gets to a point where I feel like this is overwhelming me or I am drowning in this, then I know it's an opportunity for me to step away from it, reconnect with myself, breathe deeply, and come back to a place of love and remember what is true for me. So I definitely suggest you do the same. Facebook for me has been an incredible place over the last couple of months. I have learned so much and I felt really empowered by it. However, if at any point it ever feels to you like this is too much, you have the control, you have the choice to be able to switch off. And that is definitely advisable. So then you can come back to your place of being centered, get back outside. For me, it's like sometimes it's as simple as just getting back outside, switching off from technology just so I can reconnect. So we're never getting back to a place of feeling in ignorance or feeling disempowered, but we're always coming from a place of how can I really empower myself and use what I feel in a really positive way. And that all comes down to permission. So if you give yourself permission to be all of who you are, that means you give yourself permission to feel the negative as well. And actually what I was talking about on Monday with my sister mind group is that what happens when we become present is that we are enabling ourselves to feel so much more joy and to be in bliss. It does also mean that we are much more available to feel the negative and the pain, because what happens is we become more and more present, we are less inclined to numb ourselves and to use numbing behaviours. So it's all about how you are willing and open to step into fully that permission piece of being all of who you are. And once you've done that, it's like, it's just like you can feel what you want to feel, you can express that and let it move through you, and let what you have, let what's empowering you educate you, and use that for the good. So yeah, there's been some crazy shit going on, right? There's been some incredibly horrific things that have happened. There's been some amazing things that have been happening over the last few weeks. So it's really about using your voice and using your heart to speak your truth and to be available to learn what you need to learn. Because through all of this, when I felt such a strong sense of like, this is a change that's happening with the political climate during the general elections, like I really allowed myself to move with it, but I was fully centred and connected with myself. Then obviously we had the terrorist attacks, which were incredibly devastating, and then we had Grenfell Towers, and then we had another terrorism attack. So there's no denying that this is happening around us, and we aren't here to sit on a cloud meditating with our fingers in the air, like da da da, you know, this isn't happening. There's also no point pretending you don't feel emotional, because I've seen some statuses on Facebook about that, and I really want to call bullshit on that, because we are emotional beings, and at the moment we hear anything, if we're not in a place of being empowered with that says that we shouldn't be emotional, then that instantly is like a red flag to me. That was the moment I stepped up and owned all of who I am as a sensitive woman, when I heard one too many times that you shouldn't be emotional, that you shouldn't let things get to you. Yes, I agree on principle that you don't want to be reacting from that place, but you want to be able to express your emotions, feel them, release them, and allow that to fuel you from a place of love. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I've been standing up, so I've just felt like I really want to be on my feet today and use my hands, which obviously is something that I love doing, as you probably noticed. So I really wanted to express all of that, and I feel it in my body. So it's all about that permission, right? Like, how much permission are you going to give yourself, and embracing the darker side from a place of being empowered. Now, if you want to talk to me any more about this, I would love to chat to you about it. You can come and connect with me on social media, and you can ask me any questions that you have about this. If you have got anybody in your life who you think would benefit from hearing this, then please share this video, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Have a beautiful day celebrating all that is good, all that is bad, and all that is in the middle. Mwah. Lots of love.